Today is Saturday, December 22nd, 2018. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is the listener feedback show for the finale of Survivor, David versus Goliath.
You did good. You got through that. I thought you were going to flub it.
Well, I started to say the final listener feedback show.
That's how you got an extra F, yeah.
Well, yeah. And then I changed my mind right mid-word.
Yes. I do that all the time when I'm leading the group when we're playing music. I'll be thinking ahead, and then I'll play the wrong chord.
It happens, and
yes, it does.
Seems to happen more frequently as we age a little.
Perhaps. But we're not here to talk about our aging, although we are here to celebrate an age, or rather the end of an age, the end of season 37. We're close to the end of the road. Can you see it down yonder?
Down yonder.
Just a little ways down there is the end.
Yeah, I see it down yonder.
There's a bow. We got to tie that bow right when we get to the end.
Okay.
We got this one more piece of business we need to do.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're here to wrap up season 37, David versus Goliath. It's our last listener feedback show. We've done the finale recap. You've done your work. You've sent in all these great responses. How many folks do we have?
28.
28. We're excited to celebrate the ending. So it's bittersweet, but it's something that we love to do too.
But before we get started on that, let's finish up from the recap show. We were not able to give the stats for JSFL.
For our Survivor Fantasy League. Yeah, how did that work out?
Well, congratulations to Survivor Master, who won JSFL this season with a total of 131 points.
Impressive.
Good job.
Impressive.
There were just a few other stats. There were 24 people correctly had the final 5 spot, including me. Yay.
Yeah.
That rarely happens. 30 people had Nick as their USB from the start.
Goodness.
Including Steve.
Yeah.
11 people switched to Nick, even though their original USB was still alive in the game, so they got 10 points.
Yeah, at the
and
midpoint.
Then 8 people switched to Nick after having lost their USB for a 5-point bonus.
Nice.
Now, for the side challenge, congratulations to Jeremiah for winning.
Rascal. He won again.
108 points.
Well done, sir.
JKindred with 105 and Rodney with 102.
Ooh, Rodney from Come Behind. He did good at the end.
IronDave with
Who was
97.
in the basement. Wow. He more than doubled his score, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Brandon 83, Drew 79, Parker 75, ColdMike 72, Jonathan 69, James-n-Shannon 64, and the loser of this season is Stacy with 58 points.
How is that even possible? Didn't I have like 58 going into the end?
No, you had 40.
I got third place, right?
Third place in what?
Well, Angelina. I had her going out third.
Yes,
that's worth
you got
something.
13 points in the finale.
My goodness. I demand a recount.
You had 45. You can demand all you want.
I think there might be some hanging chads. What is this nonsense? I may have to contest this in the courts.
And we'll get the information from Jeremiah has sent in his song. We'll announce that later on.
Well, good deal.
But those are the stats. Now, did you know until Jeremiah sent something that you lost the side challenge? I didn't tell you.
I had suspicions. Yeah, you've been trying to hide for some reason. You've hidden the side challenge scores when you summarize them every week, and you sit there and you hold them, so supposedly I can't see them.
No, it's dark in here.
No, that's not it at all.
It's dark in here, and I had a little flashlight.
You know what you're doing.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to, but
This is the first time you've ever had that
I
flashlight.
thought that, no, I haven't. I've had it over there in case I need
I had my suspicions because I went to look at my score because you suspiciously did not mention it, and I was like, whoo, goodness, that is quite low for an ending score. With all those potential points at the end, that is not where I was. That's not what I was hoping for. Although I knew I hadn't done well. My choices did not pay off.
Okay, but you didn't actually know that you lost until Jeremiah sent in.
Yeah. Well, I was sure at that point. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. I was going to try to get to it before you did, but then I realized, he's going to have to edit it. Oh, well, okay, forget it.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to see if I'd got to do it in the other. I could have surprised you and shocked.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought, dang it.
Well, I will honor my loss with a song, so I'll look forward to that. We'll work on that and figure it out once we hear what it is, which it'll be shortly.
Okay.
Anything else to add about JSFL?
No, I think that's it for now.
I will add that if you didn't make it this time, definitely mark your calendar for February. Send us a note. Say, hey, is JSFL open? Because I want to get in on that because it does enrich the survivor watching experience. It enriches the podcasting experience too, and we look forward to having you be a part of that. And where's our winner from?
Stockholm.
How about that? Very cool. Yeah,
yes,
we've had people from all around the world. So very, very cool that you're playing against fans from all over the globe.
And once again, this person was not in the top of the heap.
No, not even close.
And so you just never know. But he
much like Nick, click, click, click. At the end, all the pieces came together.
Well, that 24 bonus at the end.
Mm-hmm.
If you chose the right person,
if you guess right from the beginning, based on your first impressions,
it doesn't always get you the win, but it sure gets you to the top, somewhere up there.
Didn't you say there was only 1 point difference between first and second?
Yes.
Wow, what a squeaker.
Carrie came in second.
Mm-hmm.
1 point difference. And the funny thing was, I think it was, if I remember these stats correctly, the winner, I think, only got one vote out point the whole season.
Mm-hmm.
But was pretty consistent with, 4 save,
keeping safes, managing the safes.
Yeah, and then got the final order correct and had the 24 points. So that was just enough. And even though I think Carrie, who came in second, got more than one vote-off point correct, had gotten popped on a few 3-point weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just, you just don't know.
Don't know what's going to make the difference.
Every little thing. Yeah. Yep.
And what a season to have that happen in, too.
Absolutely. It was fun for me. I mean, I wasn't anywhere near the top, but it was still fun. Mm-hmm. And I've relaxed over the years of playing.
Nope.
I have.
Don't believe her.
Yes, I have. Mm-hmm. I used to be way more intense.
She still is.
I'm not. Not even close.
Sure.
It's the anxiety I used to feel. I don't. But it is fun still. So I do enjoy it. But
you should try it when there's something at stake.
No, thank you. That would really stress me. So no,
I think Jody
that can't
experienced
happen.
that.
Yes,
Rashmi experienced that.
It's like, no, it's not fun anymore if it's stressful. That doesn't work for me.
That's on you. That's how you manage it.
That works for you, but the fear of having to sing, I can't sing. So it's like, oh no, not happening. So yeah, no, thank you. You just hang on to your little side challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll wait to hear you sing.
All right. Well, we'll find out more about that shortly. Let's kick it off with some feedback from Pete.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is Pete from Boston calling here. And what a great way to end a fantastic season of Survivor. So I'm going to let out a great big woo! Congrats to Nick, the last David standing. He deserved it. He was an underdog. He fought hard. He won the last 3 challenges. He worked his way way to get to the end, and he deserved the $1 million and the title. I would have been satisfied even if Mike won, too. Mike played a very, cutthroat game. He made moves when he had to. He helped get rid of Christian. He got rid of Davey at the end. I think what hurt him was a little bit his jury management, like the comment with Allison there. That was totally uncalled for. But he played a very good game. Angelina was Angelina. What would you expect? Womp womp. That fake idol thing was completely ridiculous and unnecessary. And of all people, she had to find the last idol standing. And wouldn't you know it, after a great season when all the advantages and idols were played correctly, well, except for Nick, the last episode, Angelina completely misplaced her idol because they all ended up voting for Allison at that final 5. Nice going, Angelina. What do you get? 0 votes from the jury. But congrats again to Nick. Sad that Davey got voted out, but he was seen as a very big threat. He was likable, and I think he would have got a lot of the jury votes in the end. I think he'll come back on sometime, too. Great that he lived his dream. Been waiting to get on since 8 years old. Good for him. Kara would have been a great winner, too, even though she didn't have too much of a story, but she was likable, though, and a great social player. She just couldn't make fire. So overall, great challenges, great finale, great gameplay. Not much of a bitter jury, it seemed. I would have thought Christian would have voted for Nick, but he voted for Mike in the end. I wasn't surprised with Allison and Kara since they were close with Mike. I was really surprised with Christian, and everyone else voted for Nick. Even the Brochachos there, John and Dan voted for Nick there, which was interesting. But congrats to Nick. And guys, I have a question about the reunion, guys. Why was Jeremy not there? I know about the Alec thing. Can you explain the Jeremy thing? And again, Natalie was just so delusional. Don't even want to care about that. I bet you they invite her back because Probst loves her. She's crazy. This was a great season. Can't wait for season 38, this Extinction Island thing, which I'm guessing is going to be reminiscent of, I don't know, Ghost Island, or hopefully it's not Redemption Island with duels, because that's a waste of time, but we'll see. And hopefully it's a better twist than Ghost Island. But overall, what a great season. One of my top 5 for sure. Loved it. Take care, guys, and happy holidays. Woo!
All right. Thanks, Pete. Jeremiah was there not at the finale filming, but at the finale of the hotel, and he's got the scoop on the whole Jeremy situation, so I'll let Jeremiah explain it in his audio.
I was going to say,
so just hang tight, Pete, and then Jeremiah will get to that answer since he got something while he was there. Thanks, Pete. Good job. Next up, we've got an email from Kevin in Canada. David versus Goliath as a concept for a Survivor season on paper is as good as any. It is the ultimate epic underdog showdown based on a story that has endured through the ages. Sometimes the little guy can pick up a slingshot and take down the giant. Remember on day 1 how stacked the Goliath team looked standing next to the Davids? Remember Nick from day 1 was the guy who seemed to be too slimy and was going to be sent home first if not for a freak boat accident? You bet. Would we be talking now about how great this season has been if the Goliaths had steamrolled the Davids? It almost happened. We were really close on more than one occasion. And in the end, we watched an unscripted story arc that played out exactly as the original David versus Goliath story. The underdog won. Joanne cheered.
Ew.
Nick turned out to be a pretty good guy with a great heart. He truly was an underdog both in the game and in life who maneuvered his way through the tides. His slingshot moment came on the day in vote. He survived all his buddies getting blindsided, and he won immunity multiple times in the end when it counted the most. The villain got her just desserts. Stacy cheered. Woohoo! Angelina's story arc of increasing foolishness throughout the show came to a climax with her fake idol trick that didn't work in the least. Stacy's 100% correct. Angelina was being dragged along because everybody knew they could beat her at the end. I think Allison or someone even said as much in their The Jury Speaks video.
Yeah, there were a few of them that did, and then other people that gave her credit.
Yeah.
I was thinking Allison was one of the ones that gave her some credit. Some credit.
Yeah, she did, but you could tell She wasn't all in on her for sure. They did not have a pleasant parting or anything. As for Mike, he left the show with a new compelling story to tell. I don't think I can think of a better choice for second prize. I don't think he could have played any better. Hopefully he will work with some of his castmates at some point in the future, as he hinted on the reunion show. Mike seems to be a pretty good guy to know. This truly was a memorable season. A lot of stars had to align for it to play out as it did. Survivor continues to mature and evolve in its gameplay and twist. I'm excited for what is ahead. Thank you, Joanne and Stacy, for all the hard work you put into the podcast. You make watching Survivor more enjoyable. Thank you. Have a wonderful Christmas break and warmest wishes to you in the new year. All the best. Thank you, Kevin. Great summary there at the end. Next up, we got a call from Shay.
Hey, guys, it's Shay. What a stellar season. I really don't think that it could have ended any better. If Nick or Davey didn't make it to the final three, I don't think I would have been as excited about who was going to win. If it had been any other grouping, I don't think I'd have cared if one of those two weren't in it. I absolutely was so proud of him for making that run of just immunity idol, immunity idol, immunity idol. Oh, a moment that stood out for me was Mike. He really started to show a side of himself that I didn't really like. First, I thought it was pretty ironic when Nick came back upset how he was treating Nick like he was being a brat or a baby and was actually making fun of him for getting defensive. Yet, when Allison simply tried to make it known at Tribal Council that Mike was also a threat, he lost it, man. He really, really took offense to that. And I think it's the first time in the whole game anybody had really called him out for anything. And he didn't handle it any better than Nick did. In my opinion, I think he handled it worse. I thought that was pretty funny. Another funny moment for me was definitely Angelina getting stuck up on that rock. And also when John at Final Tribal asked a question of Mike, but apparently Angelina thought he meant her because she interrupted. That was pretty funny. I think there were several eye rolls, not only on the show, but at my house as well. It was just a really great ending of the show. I'm glad they talked to everybody. I hate that it's over, and I just think that it was such a good season that for a while, not many seasons are going to stack up to it. Like, they showed the previews for the next one, and nothing about it got me real excited. I don't know if I was very excited about who they're bringing back, except for maybe Aubrey. I really liked her, but I still don't get why they're bringing them back. I mean, why throw just 4 in the mix? I don't get it, I guess. All I know is I definitely plan to watch this season again. And when I do, I'll probably listen to the show again. I'm going to miss this podcast as much as I'm going to miss Survivor. And I'm also going to miss the other listeners as well. They truly feel like family to me. And I look forward to hearing each and every one of them every week. Gonna miss you guys. Hope you all have a great holiday. Can't wait to hear from all of y'all again. Over and out. See you next season.
All right. Good job, Shay. We'll miss your voice, too. I can tell you from what I recall in the past, when they have returning players, it tends to offer a bump to the viewership. So the ratings go up a little more. Although they've done really well. They've consistently been above 7.5 million viewers in the Nielsen ratings every week during this season. And I'm pretty sure they won their slot every time, which that's always good.
Yes, it is.
As long as they're getting their ad money, that means we can get more Survivor. So that's what we're looking for, and that's probably why they're bringing those 2 returning players back to each of the tribes I'm sure he'll position them as the tribe captains or something like that. All right, thanks, Shay. Next up, we got an email from Maureen in Jackson, New Jersey.
No big deal, but I noticed that Dr. Allison was always checking her pulse at Tribal Council and occasionally at the challenges. Yeah, she did that in her Q&A session that they did where they took questions out of a fishbowl and answered for the camera, and she even said, okay, one last pulse check. So we thought maybe she was signaling somebody or something, but I think that was just her shtick.
Yeah.
But, okay.
Checking her stats. She did it during the reunion show, too. You saw her.
Yeah. Yeah, I noticed it during the reunion show. Okay, back to Maureen. It has been one of the better seasons, top 5 in my book, and I have been watching since season 1. I'm not a fanatical fan like a lot of your listeners, but I do very much enjoy the show, and your podcast makes it that much better.
Thank you.
Looking forward to the next season as always. Maybe one day I might just have to join in on the JSFL.
You better. You better do it, Maureen. Set your calendar
It's
reminder.
fun.
Good job. Next up, we got a call from Kim and Cameron.
Hey, this is Kim and Cameron from North Carolina. I'm really happy that Nick won. He got 3 straight immunities. Of course, my JSFL was a mess, but I was really, really happy that the Goliaths weren't able to do Nick in.
Absolutely. I mean, is it fair to call him a comp beast now? So I didn't say Nick was my USB, but I did say last night that he would be first place. And I didn't do great in JSFL, but hey, that was a good pick on my part, so props to me. And Angelina, I'll just start off by saying that she did not need that first idol. She was kind of going to the end as it already was.
I'm glad Angelina didn't get any votes in the finale. The drama she tried to create during that Allison vote-off was really lame to me, although I do feel some sympathy for her. But it looked like in the finale that she didn't seem fazed by the way she was portrayed during the show. I was kind of glad the jury was kind to her, but she did have to take some time away from a question for Mike in order to get her story out there. They didn't really ask her a whole lot.
Yeah, in my opinion, she was playing that parody card a lot, but she just didn't pull it off. I mean, she just wasn't well-liked enough, really.
All right, overall, this was my favorite season. If Mike had won, it would have tainted the season for me because I think his jerk nature came out right there at the end, especially during the Allison vote out. But otherwise, I love the season. I like the winner. It's all good.
I agree. I mean, Nick was humble. He had the greatest argument at the end. And I just loved how he was a perfect combination between JT Thomas and Stephen Fishback. I said in my own rankings that he is the 4th greatest winner of all time, only beneath JT, Brian, and Kim Spradlin. So, Stacy, if you recall week 1, I think you told me that I was getting blinded by my JSFL pick when I said I see Nick going all the way. Well, I'm afraid I got the last laugh, Stacy.
Oh, there he goes.
I'm sorry, but let's see, next season it looks kind of like Ghost Island number 2 for me, so maybe they can improve it. I hope it's not a dud again. I'm kind of cool with seeing David, Kelly, and Joe come back, but Aubrey, she's just been kind of vanilla to me the whole time. I just don't think she's going to have a good game ever.
Well, I didn't see the next season stuff. I had to go to bed because I had school, but it's been a blast as always. I hope everybody has a great few weeks off, and we'll look forward to seeing you at the next season.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Joanne and Stacy.
All right, bye.
Thank you, Kim and Cameron. We've loved having you with us here in the podcast this season. Thank you for the picture. They have whiteboarded out their final thoughts, just like a Christian Hubecki lecture on Survivor, and they sent us a picture of that when they were putting together their listener feedback this week. We really enjoyed that. Thanks for that. Next up, we got an email from Rashmi in Perth. Hello, Joanne and Stacy and all my Survivor friends. Another end to a brilliant season of Survivor. I was happy with the winner. In fact, I would have been satisfied with any of the final 3 winning. Here are my views of the final 6. Davey, a very insightful and fun player who had a lot of potential to win. I would have been very, very happy to see him crowned winner. Allison, I just felt that she did not make the hard decisions in time. However, always managed right till the end to dodge the bullet. As she pointed out, the Grim Reaper was always chasing her. Kara, to me, she came across as an insipid player, or that was how she was portrayed. I have nothing much to say about her or her gameplay. Angelina, such a fun villain who kept me laughing. She wasn't nasty and unlikable like Abby Maria and Cass. I agree that if a male had played like her, the perception would be different. I do look forward to seeing her play again. You'll probably get your wish. She's on Prope's return list. Mike was my favorite. I have loved his work, especially on the TV show Enlightened. In my opinion, Mike's game was the best, and he deserved the title of Sole Survivor. Nick, in around the last 4 episodes, one could see that Nick was getting the winner's edit, and good for him. His win was a bit like JT's, where the brain behind the win was Steven. In this case, the backseat driver directing Nick was Mike. All in all, a good outcome. The reunion show was short and sweet. It was nice to hear from Napalm Natalie. I'm looking forward to seeing Aubrey play and win. I don't mind Kelly Wentworth and David Wright coming back as well. However, Joe Amazing, ugh, no. Joanna and Stacy, thank you for another wonderful season of podcasting. Your dedication to this tribe of fans is much appreciated. May this Christmas bring you and your family lots of happiness and joy. Wishing everyone a very Merry Christmas and a safe, prosperous New Year. See you in February 2019. Cheers and much love. Thanks, Rashmi. Next up, we got a call from Brandon.
Hey, what's up, Joanna, Stacy, and Survivor fans? It's Brandon from Cleveland. Just wanted to get on here, before the season wrapped up. Just give some thoughts. I've just been so busy with Christmas stuff and life stuff and work stuff and all types of stuff. So I ain't been on, in several weeks. But just want to say another fantastic season. I loved every part of it. This is a good season. I'm not sure if I'm going to go top 5, but this was a fantastic season. I really enjoyed this cast. I loved what they brought to the table. I was definitely rooting for a Davey win or even an Allison win, obviously for JSFL reasons, but I'm perfectly satisfied with the Nick win. But I just enjoyed everybody. I thought everybody played a great role. Even, Angelina as the villain, who's not really a villain even to me, but more so, I don't know what the word I'll call for, but everybody played their part well. Man, this was just a good season. So I just wanted to say that and say, again, thanks Joanne and Stacy, and especially Joanne for, persevering through with everything that's going on with family and everything right now. And I just thank you guys for this podcast. It's always something fun to go back to, and it's definitely a welcome addition to my weekly routine to go along with the episode. And whoever is going to win in JSFL, please just don't pick a super hard song. I don't even know if I lost. I'm just thinking it's a big possibility I may have. I think I had Davey at 6, but I'm not sure if I had any other ones correct, so I think it's a high probability of me losing. So just don't pick something too hard, lest you want the rest of the community to suffer with some awful singing. So just saying, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, say no more. All right, I'll talk to you guys next season. Peace.
Oh,
all right, he's right there in the middle.
He's being humble, too. His version of Wrecking Ball was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. Still remember it. Thanks, Brandon. It's great to have you here on the last listener feedback show of the season. Next up, we got an email from Nathan in Portsmouth, Virginia. Hello, Joanne, Stacy, and Survivor fans. The final episode did not disappoint. I was a little worried that there might be some kind of letdown somewhere, but there was no disappointment. My first thought is how much I was confused by Angelina. I didn't mean to laugh at her gameplay, but what in the world was she doing? First of all, she was so excited to be a female who found an idol, but she only found the idol after 2 males helped her find the clue she lost and help her retrieve the idol. I thought that would have tainted the idol find in her mind and make her a little less excited, but it didn't seem to click. Yeah, that's a pattern right there for sure. There's no doubt that's happened before, and especially the taking credit for other people's work. Then what was she trying to do with that weird idol play? She could have used it in some other way to try to turn the game in a different direction if she wanted, but that never seemed to enter her mind. I loved how the rest of the tribe was so cavalier about her idol play. Oh well, at least it gave us some additional things to talk about. I have nothing against Angelina as a player, but I do have one more thing to add. I was watching the final tribal saying, "Don't mention the rice, don't mention the rice." Oh, she mentioned the rice. It made for some entertainment at least. I was glad to see Nick win the final 3 immunities. I was pulling for him because I felt he played a great game. He also seemed to play a solid stand-up game, or at least as much as one can in Survivor. Actually, most of the castaways really seemed to understand the game and played it well. There didn't even seem to be any bitter jurors. Yeah, I think you can see that in the Jury Speaks videos that came out. The only person who struck me as bitter, and it surprised me, was Allison. And she still seemed to be holding a grudge because Nick stole her vote that time. She had something against him because of that. That was weird.
It's like he stole my vote.
Yeah. Okay, I was very pleased with the final 3. We all knew that everyone would take Angelina to the end, so that was no surprise. I think Nick and Mike at the end was a good conclusion considering who was left. I thought they both played a great game. Although I do think Nick did play the best, and the jury agreed. I was glad to see them both have a chance to make their case to the jury, and I think it was fitting that it was not a unanimous vote. It really seemed like a perfect ending to an absolutely wonderful season. I'm not sure what to think about next season. I don't have a problem with a few returning players coming back. I'm worried how they talked about changing the game. I understand there must be new twists to keep viewership, but I hope they don't mess it up. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. For now, we can just enjoy the great season we were just able to watch. I think that's it right there. Spot on. Big thanks to Joanna Stacy for all you do. Oddly enough, I don't have any friends or family that watch Survivor, so this podcast really helps me connect with other fans. It adds a lot to the show, and I enjoy every single podcast. Thanks to everyone who leaves feedback. I enjoy hearing your thoughts, opinions, and predictions. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everyone. I hope to hear from everyone again next season. Thanks, Nathan. We do hear that a lot about people not having someone to discuss it with, so it's wonderful that we can fulfill that role for each other. Next up, we got a call from Sophie.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Hi, Survivor fans. I'm going to miss you guys. Could I just say that now? Fantastic show. Really enjoyed it. Our family had a great time, and we watched it really late. The kids ended up going to bed at past 11. So when Jeff said, "Thank you, parents, for allowing your kids to stay up late," my kids were like, "How does he know? How does he know?" They just awesome. Like that personal message. Okay, I think that Davey didn't want to go on the reward with Nick because I think he still wanted to go look. Whether he did look for the idol or not, they didn't show, but I think he was probably going to still try to find the idol. And yeah, it was very convenient that they put the reward table feast right there. It did force Angelina to share her knowledge. Yeah, I had Davey, Nick, and Cara in the final three. I just went with what I really wanted. But Mike did play a good game, and actually, thinking back, I was sort of cheering for Mike more than Nick, even though overall, yeah, happy for Nick. I wanted to know where Jeremy was because he wasn't there at the final reunion show. And I wouldn't mind seeing Natalie again. Don't really want to see Angelina. But yeah, Christian and Natalie, I wouldn't mind seeing again. I hope you have a great winter. I'm sure I'm going to think of more things. But yeah, it was fantastic. Definitely in my top 5 probably. And thanks everybody for making it, fun. And thank you so much, Stacy and Joanne as well. You did a fantastic recap. Like everything you said about Gabby crying was fantastic. I didn't mind. Actually, it was a cherry on the cake. I really liked seeing Gabby emotional one last time when she was voting. I wouldn't have minded seeing them lay more into Angelina at the final, but the editing was excellent. Did leave us guessing. Yep, great challenges. I think it's a shame that Cara lost focus right at the end. I think, gosh, she deserved to even come back. She really did play way better than they even showed, I think. If she had been in the final 3, they would have given her a better edit. But she didn't get a bad one, and she just looked gorgeous at the end. So take care, everybody. Be safe, and can't wait to watch next year. I don't really want to see the 4 back again. David is actually the one that I'm most looking forward to seeing. Yeah, okay. Ciao. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Sophie. Good job.
I would love to see Joe if he had shaved first. I hate that. The mustache can drive me crazy.
You're not the only one. Some other folks are complaining about that, too.
I wanted to say, before we move away from Sophie, that when we were watching the extra video clips, I was surprised at the number of people who discounted Cara. Because I had thought from what Allison had said that Cara could be in the running. And but several of the jury members had said, well, they thought Christian made a mistake bringing Angelina instead of...
You mean Nick, yeah.
Nick made a mistake in bringing Angelina with him instead of Cara because Cara hadn't done anything. And Angelina had, and they did respect some of her gameplay. But there's areas they didn't like as well. But they really thought it would have been safer for Nick to choose Cara over Angelina, and that surprised me.
Well, I think the point some of them were making, too, was that they figured Angelina would, since she had done so much work around camp, she would have just destroyed Mike in the fire-making challenge. And so it would have taken Mike out. So.
Yeah. A lot of people like Mike, too. I thought they were going to vote for him.
Yeah, you really
John
couldn't tell
seemed
from
to be.
the Jury Speaks. You couldn't tell, yeah. Yeah, if you had to weigh it just from the Jury Speaks videos, you would have thought Mike was going to win. Good stuff. Thanks, Sophie. Next up, we got an email from Tina in Virginia. Hello, Joanne and Stacy. I hope you're both well, and hello to all your listeners. I had a dream last night that I was on Survivor but did not have a warm jacket, which caused me much distress. I love the characters in the show this season. Almost all were great, including Angelina, the great Yale provider and negotiator. I like how you worked Yale into that, too. Good job. That's exactly what she would do, isn't it? If I may put on my aluminum foil hat in regards to the fire challenge at the end, I do believe the Survivor gods, aka producers, use the fire challenge to control who will be in the final 3. It does not take much to make some kindling more ignitable than others. Just saying. I know this is not a popular thing to say among the believers, so I better move on. Well, I'll tell you one reason why you're probably, they don't mess with things because of the game show rules, but if you watch Kara's Ponderosa video, she says that she didn't realize she was trying to strike the flint, but she had it turned around. She was using the
wrong side of the knife.
She was striking, yeah.
She's like, I didn't even realize I was using the wrong side of the knife.
I don't know if it was the wrong side of the knife or that she wasn't even hitting the flint.
Oh, no, I thought she said she was using the wrong side of the knife.
Yeah, because you can usually, depending on the shape of the knife.
And maybe the other two. But
yeah, I think she was striking the magnesium side at one point, and she didn't realize it. She said she was hitting her finger, so it was really more of her goofing up. So there, you can just weigh that. That should help with you can take your tinfoil hat off. Your show's given me great pleasure this season, and I love the listeners' feedback. I missed more of Rashmi this season, but it appears she is busy in her retirement. I'm looking forward to next season. Do you know who are all the returnees? I saw Aubrey, but have not rewatched it yet. So do you want to run through them real quick?
There's David Wright, Kelly Wentworth.
They're together.
Aubrey and Joe.
All right. And they're together. So those two. Those are the two pairs with the blue and the yellow. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go. Also, will you both ever do an off-season lessons learned along the way, what you enjoy most, and what are the hard things about the podcast? Just some insight into my favorite podcasts. Okay. I don't think I've ever really considered that, but I guess it's a possibility.
You did some extra stuff, like when you went out into the desert and things like that, but no, we usually need to rest in between.
Usually
or catch up on everything that
we're recovering. But
that we put aside.
We'll save that off, and maybe we can figure something out for you.
But there are stories out there in the beginning about how we got started.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When we first started, if you go back to some of the early podcasts, we say how we, decided to get into podcasting. It was, for me, just kind of something Stacy wanted to do, and I didn't even know what a podcast was, never heard of a podcast, and
well, that's something we'll just recap it in another podcast. We don't have to do it right now.
Okay.
It's very
sorry, I'm being ordered to move along.
It is very hard to wait a few months and not hear your voices. The withdrawal symptoms are not pleasant, and a little fix will go a long way to ease my pain. But we've got a huge back catalog, like Joanne was just saying. But I also know you may appreciate some rest and time off. Indeed, we do. Everybody do well and get healthier in the next few months. I'll be walking almost 8 miles today on the Hudson River. Oh, that sounds amazing. Looking forward to chatting next season. All the best. Thanks, Tina. It was great having you be part of the podcast this season. Next up, we got a call from KimJ.
Hey, Joanne and Stacy. This is KimJ from Nashville. This is like my 10th recording, so because I have too much to say. So I'm just going to focus on 3 things. First is Angelina. I think that she got a very favorable tribal council edit because the powers that be, aka Jeff, really love her and they want her to come back, and she may be back as soon as season 40. But I can't believe that she didn't get raked over the coals at least a little bit at Final Tribal for someone who did not get any votes. I think that she's a great character and she is potentially a great player, but like you said, Stacy, in the recap, she lacks self-awareness, and that is not her problem. It's not a gender bias issue. Her whole speech about strong women, blah, 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 that is not Angelina's problem. I find it very hard to believe that she's not polarizing in real life. Survivor brings out your true character, and if you lack self-awareness on Survivor, I'm pretty sure you lack it in real life. Now, on to the actual finale itself. I still don't like the fire-making challenge. I just feel like it stifles strategy that late in the game because people aren't trying to posture to get to 3. They're just trying to get to 4. I still prefer a final 2. I know that's definitely not coming back because Jeff doesn't like that, but I still don't like the fire-making challenge. I am glad that at least this year the person who won the fire-making challenge didn't go on and win the game, even though I would have been fine with Mike winning. I think that he played a really good game. I enjoyed Nick. I think he's a worthy winner, but I do think his game peaked at probably the Dan boot. For me, the whole season peaked at the Carl boot. It was an enjoyable season, no doubt, from beginning to end, but for me, it certainly does not beat newbie seasons like Cagayan or Pearl Islands. So for me, it will kind of rank probably around 7 or 8 because Micronesia, Cagayan, Pearl Islands, Cambodia, and Heroes vs. Villains are my top 5, and it's pretty hard to crack there. Yeah. Loved the reunion show. I thought it was hilarious that Jeff asked Natalie about her edit. I thought that was a great nod to us super fans who get on Reddit and get on Twitter. It was really funny. And I love that they spent some time with the contestants for a change. I hope that stays. I hope the positive changes that we saw in this season really stays. It's just been such a nice change of pace from the last 3 seasons. Season 38, I'll save most of my thoughts about that for Jabek in February. I am familiar with the twist because all of that really dominated the off-season leading up to 37, but I will say that I approve of the blue and yellow buffs instead of purple and orange, and I disapprove of Joe's new handlebar mustache. Can't wait to hear what everybody else says. Everybody have happy holidays and Merry Christmas.
All right, thanks, KimJ. Another thumbs down for the mustache.
Oh, man.
It's going to be unanimous before you know it.
And I really like Joe, too, but I just...
Yeah.
That just...
That's funny how that one little feature has that much impact.
Even if they would just cut the flip off.
Come on, he's Joey Amazing.
He was. Not so amazing now.
Uh-huh. All right, thanks again, KimJ. Next up, we got an email from Jack in California.
Hi, Survivor fans. What a way to end an amazing Survivor season. This season is one for the records for sure. Nick was a very deserving winner, and he fought very well to get to the end. Angelina was definitely one of the main villains of the season. I didn't like how she created a fake idol just for show and a blow up at Tribal. It was not needed, and it hurt to see someone be so cruel when they knew the intended target was going to leave the game anyway. I honestly feel bad for Allison for having to endure all that negativity from Angelina. She fought really hard to stay in the game. Luck just wasn't on her side. The final challenges were all great. I loved the scenery of where that last challenge took place, which was the cliff overlooking the ocean. Not knowing how to make a fire when going out there, Mike did really well in the fire-making challenge. I know there was a lot of info and some negativity floating around for Survivor Edge of Extinction before the title got revealed, but it looks like an interesting idea, and I wonder how the game is going to change now. I hope you all have a great holiday break, and I'll talk to you guys again for Jabek show next season.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Jack.
Look how KimJ and Jack are already looking forward to the Jabek.
Looking for the Jabek.
Next up, we got a call from Nicola-n-Jackson.
Hello, all our fellow Survivor lovers. This is Nicola and
Jackson.
And Jackson wants to do his best Pete impression. All right, we just got done watching
Survivor.
And I'm going to be sad that we don't have it to watch together for the next few weeks, well, until February. I've had fun watching this with you. Have you enjoyed it?
Yes.
Were you happy with the winner?
Yep.
Yep. I was relieved that Nick made it through. He did an awesome job with the challenges, and surely I mean, when it got down to the final 3, I figured that he would have it in the bag. Those few Mike votes at the beginning had me a little worried, but he pulled it off. I'm very happy for him and his family, and I hope that... In fact, I know that he will do some good things with some of that money. So that's cool. And Eliza got to meet him because she went to his watch party. So I know somebody who's met a Survivor winner. It's like 6 degrees of separation. It's awesome. But highlights of the finale for me were, I really enjoyed the reunion show. So they made it a little bit longer than last time. We actually got to speak to some people. But the highlight of the season for me has been watching with Jackson and sharing my love of Survivor with him, sending in the feedback every week. I think we've managed every week, which is a new record for me. I almost cracked 100 in JSFL, and so that also, apart from last season, where I did crack 100, but I think this is the second time I've done, second highest score I've ever had in JSFL. So my thanks to everybody who makes the show so much better and so much more fun, listening to the podcast, and everybody who participates. I hope everybody has a safe and happy holiday season. And what do you want to say about the show, Jackson?
It was the Gorific.
Gorific. Okay, well, I guess that's it then. Till next season.
Survivor fans.
Survivor fans. All right, that's it.
Yep,
that's it. All right, it's Nicola-n-Jackson out. Have a fabulous, I think I said that already, but I hope everybody has a great holiday season, gets to spend some time with family. Enjoy your rewatch of Survivor, which I'm going to do. Thought the challenges were amazing. The backdrop to that last challenge was just fabulous. I can't imagine them having to build that platform for those guys to stand on. You could see they had to put up quite the rigging underneath there to get that view. I'm going to sign out here and go take the dogs for a walk on this cloudy, cold Kentucky morning. Cheers, guys. Until February. Say bye, Jackson.
Bye.
All right.
I expected him to say bye, Jackson.
Good job, Nicola. Good job, Jackson. Loved your Pete woohoo there. Next up, we got an email from Christiana in Boston. Hello, Joanne and Stacy. What an amazing season of Survivor. And Nick winning really was the icing on the cake of satisfaction for me. I don't think I would have been as pleased if a Goliath had won, since the whole David versus Goliath concept tends to have viewers cheering for the underdog. However, I think I would have been okay with any of the top 6 competitors winning, except for Mike for some reason. I can't quite put my finger on it, because I don't think his gameplay didn't necessarily warrant a win, but the fact that he is already famous and wealthy would have been disappointing to me if he won the million and the public defender came up empty-handed. I think Nick had a pretty powerful arc, and he was right in saying he had to take the game into his own hands most of the time and leverage the different bonds he had worked to form. He was never fully in charge of the gameplay really at any point, like some of the more recent winners, namely Wendell and Ben, but he was almost always in control of his own destiny through either idols, advantages, working with his tribe or alliance, or at the end winning out in the immunity challenges. I'm surprised it didn't come up in the finale if it weren't for Pat's medevac before the first tribal council, Nick would have been the first person to be voted out. To make it from that to sole survivor makes him a strong winner in my book. Happy holidays, everyone, and I look forward to returning to this community for Edge of Extinction in 2019. All the best. Thanks, Christiana. Good job. Next up, we got a call from DrewsCrew.
Hey, everyone. This is Drew and...
Charlie, Mittens, Kitty.
And that's it. And who are you?
Adeline, my person, and right there, and I'm wearing a red shirt.
Well, she's wearing some new Christmas clothes. That's pretty exciting. Thank you for the fashion update. Milo is running around too, so they're going to do a quick... Yes, we're going to do a quick recording on the finale and reunion show of Survivor David vs. Goliath. And I'll just say, Nick wasn't my favorite, but compared to the other two, that was a good win. Oh, Charlie says Nick is his favorite. We just watched the 3 challenges, and Charlie was really excited that Nick won every time. And you guessed, huh?
Yep.
You sure did. I just want to say a quick word about Angelina. I still don't really get the hate for her. I mean, she's kind of annoying, and she has her moments, but she did okay. I don't think actually her game was as brilliant as everyone keeps acting like it was. But yeah, that's a good thing I really liked about this season, is that I didn't just despise watching anybody. Even Natalie wasn't the worst in her time. I mean, there have been, more frustrating people on the show. So yeah, it was a great finale. I got the order almost 100% wrong. I think I had Angelina in third place, and that's about it. I definitely thought that we were going to have a Kara and maybe Allison and Angelina situation. I don't even remember what order I had. I did have Allison to win, just in case. But also, I will say this is my third or fourth time in the last, handful of seasons that my USB has been in the final episode, so that's not too bad, right? It'll be interesting to see where the standings are, and winner of the season, I think it's got to be, I guess it has to be Nick, because he played hard. He lost his cool a couple of times, but who wouldn't? Loser of the season, I'm going to give that to one of those early boots that no one remembers, because maybe, was it Jeremy? Yeah, that guy didn't know what he was doing. But yeah, I thought it was actually a good reunion too. There wasn't a lot of fluff. I want to say one thing about why Jeff is constantly trying to get people to apply for this show, especially kids. For one thing, I think there's probably 100,000 people who are applying every single time. So it's not like they're hurting for it, but I guess he just wants to drum up more interest and, people keep watching because it could be them in the future. But then at the same time, 75% of the people they cast are going to be recruits anyway. So if you want to get cast, all you should really do is go hang out on a beach and look ripped somewhere, or sell pharmaceuticals, or work in a bar in LA, and bro, you're in, right? Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, Angelina definitely had her talking points and she got those across, but I'm with you guys. If anyone played her game, whatever, if they were a male or a female, guess what? Someone who constantly brings up the rice they got for everybody, someone who's constantly begging for jackets, it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, that's going to be annoying. Yeah, I think that's a talking point. It didn't impress. Anyway, I hope everyone has a very Merry Christmas. Next season looks interesting and promising. Just a few returning players. I'm over Joe. Sorry.
Do you have a Christmas tree?
Well, if they want one, they can go to the store just like we did and pick one up.
And you need to put some ornaments in the star on top.
Okay. All right. Yeah, the other returning players, we'll see. I was surprised Mike got any votes. Okay, now I'm just going on and on. Everyone have a great break. We'll miss you guys, but look forward to talking to you in the spring. And a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Oh, Milo, are you done? Okay, bye. Say bye.
Bye. Bye.
All right. Good job, guys.
You guys have a Merry Christmas, too.
Next up, we got a quick note from Marla-n-Sarah.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Hi, Survivor friends. We are writing from our early Christmas celebration with our family. We're celebrating early so we could have Christmas with my nephew who's home from the Air Force. That's exciting. Mm-hmm. We love the finale, and our USB won for the very first time. Nice. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Usually the person we choose is voted out first. Hoping you all enjoyed the season and have wonderful holidays and a happy, safe, and healthy new year. Joanne and Stacy, thanks for all you do, and we'll talk to you in 2019. All right, thanks, Marla-n-Sarah. And up next, we got a voice clip from Parker.
Hey, it's Park from Indiana. That was a pretty good finale. I feel like it could have been a little bit more exciting. Maybe have a little bit more happen. I'm so sad Davey went out so early. I love Davey. Jeff loves Davey. Davey's coming back for sure. If there's two people for sure coming back from this season, it's Davey and Christian. And also, probably Angelina as well, because, they love that drama, which I can't stand, but some people's cup of tea. Pat has a pretty good chance of returning. A pretty good reunion show. Jeff actually talked to more people than I was expecting, so that was cool. By the way, I had Davey winning, and I'm pretty sure every single thing I guessed wrong. Hopefully I'm not at the bottom of the side challenge. I'm super happy that Nick won. I'm super surprised that Mike got 3 votes. I did not see that coming at all. I'm not surprised at all that Angelina got no votes and that she brought up the rice. What was up with Mike in this episode? He was just like a jerk out of nowhere with Allison. I was really surprised that Christian voted for Mike. I guess he was just very impressed with his game and stuff. I thought that Christian would go with the Mason-Dixon alliance. And I think this season is going to be remembered fondly. Great cast, great characters, cool blind sides, cool challenges. Almost 6-hour challenge. That was amazing. A good reunion show. You can't say that about a lot of Survivor seasons.
Nope.
I don't know where to place it right now. Preview for next season. Edge of Extinction. Okay. So, Exile Island, that's what it made it sound like. I don't know. I just hope this goes better than Ghost Island. I don't need a separate island. It's not that riveting, okay? This sounds even cheesier than David versus Goliath, but David versus Goliath was really good, so you never know. They're going to remember Aubrey from Game Changers, not Co-Wrong. So I think that's really good for Aubrey. Joe, he's going to be a target right away. Don't curl your mustache like that, Joe. It makes you look like a dork. Also, it should be Malcolm. It should be Malcolm. And Malcolm was doing the Instagram takeover, and that just made me think so much. It should be Malcolm returning, not Joe. We made it through an excellent Survivor season. There was hardly any points where it was just like cringing to death because the gameplay was so bad, or because people were just idiots, or anything. You know, Man, this was a great season. I love this cast once again. I have to give it to them. This was an awesome season. Can't wait for next season. And yeah. So for the last time in Survivor David versus Goliath, I will see you guys next time.
All right, good job, Parker. Next up, we got an email from Grace. Joanna and Stacy, I guessed Nick, and I didn't send anything in, but I guessed it would be him, and now I'm kicking myself. Even though I didn't want Nick to win, I was happy with the finale. Mike had his wine glass looking for the clue. Made my night. Can't wait till Edge of Extinction. Until next time, thanks, Grace. Appreciate you being a part of the last show here. Next up, got a call from David.
Hey, Joanna and Stacy. It's David in Pittsburgh. What a great season. What a great finale. I enjoyed it from the first episode to the final reunion. In the beginning of the season, I wanted Mike to win, but by mid-season, I had switched to Nick, and after that, I never wavered. So when the final three were answering questions and making their pitch to the jury, I thought Nick had the most compelling story. Never thought Angelina would win. Frankly, her emphasis on being the only woman and representing all womankind didn't work for me. Yeah, right, Angelina. Your treatment of Allison in the end shows how empowering it is being a female finalist. But anytime I thought Nick scored a point with the jury, the focus switched to Mike, and that worried me. Once again, the editors kept me on the edge of my seat. If Mike had won, I would have been okay, but a little disappointed. Not that he didn't play a good game, but I never felt he was in jeopardy the way Nick was during the game. Looking back on the first episode, it was lazy Nick that the Davids were gunning for. And if Pat hadn't been injured, Nick might have gone home the first episode. So he's come a long way. I felt he deserved the win. Karen Allison voted for Goliath. I wasn't surprised by that, but Christian's vote did surprise me. I felt he and Gabby were responsible for the eventual wipeout of the Davids, so I'm not sure why he didn't appreciate Nick's struggle to be in the final three, winning all those immunities and his gameplay throughout. But I was impressed that the Goliaths, Alex, John, and Dan joined in on giving Nick the vote. I wasn't sure about Nick's decision to keep Mike in the game, especially since Mike betrayed him a number of times, but I guess he saw Allison as a bigger threat. And if Allison and Kara had to make fire, would either one have won over Nick? I don't think Kara had a chance, but Allison, I'm not sure. Now, at the reunion, I noticed that as predicted, Alex was not there, but I kept counting and only came up with 18. So I think it was Jeremy who was another one of the missing. And if so, is there a story to tell there as well? Last season, I kept thinking that Ghost Island was going to end up a better season than it seemed likely to. I mean, Jeff said so. Was Laurel finally going to make a move? Well, no. So I asked for recommendations of other seasons from you guys to tide me over until this one began, and you had some great recommendations. Well, this time I don't need one. I'm putting this one in the top of my top 10, and I'm fine with waiting for the next season. Now it's time for all of us to get on with our lives. And if you're right, Stacy, that February is not so far away, unless we're being misdirected again, can we wait until late March? Take a break, guys. We'll be back to listen when season 38 begins. Bye.
Excellent. Good job, David. Next up, got an email from Ed in Milwaukee.
Joanne and Stacy, I'm delighted with Nick's victory. I felt that he and Davy were playing head and shoulders above the rest, but I thought the other contestants would prevent Nick and Davy from getting to the final four. The odds of Nick winning 3 immunities in a row were slim. Nick, in the spirit of Mike Holloway and Ben Drybergen, came through in the clutch and got immunity when he really needed it. I thought the teamwork at mid-game between Davy and Nick was extraordinary in that they pooled resources to get Goliaths out of the game. Davy's move to pretend he was doing martial arts exercises to draw attention away from Nick when Nick was looking for the idol was an all-time great move. In hindsight, I believe that I underestimated Mike White's game. I did not see him as doing much, but the Jury Speaks videos on YouTube showed most of the jury members complimenting Mike on his social relationships with everybody and him working behind the scenes to manipulate votes. I truly believe that the latter part of the game was not about David versus Goliath. If Nick and or Davy had been on the Goliath tribe, the others would have been gunning for them because of their gameplay and not because of tribe loyalties. One quick thought. Davy was a last-minute, literally, addition to the game. Was he slotted by the producers in casting as a David? Was the person that was originally scheduled to be on the show a David, or was he a Goliath? And another cast member moved from the Goliath tribe to the Davids. We may never know. Angelina's finding the immunity idol was meaningless. We all knew that she was going to be carried to the final as a goat. The only significance of her finding the idol is that it prevented Davy from finding the idol, and he was subsequently voted out. I identified Angelina as a goat, but I note that there are different types of goats. Most goats, like Angie from last year, are players that don't do anything, but there are other goats that are active, but for some reason rub the rest of the cast the wrong way. Angelina was a goat from the Philip Shepherd stable.
I like that.
Angelina is very knowledgeable at the game and worked very hard to try and advance her game. The problem was that everyone saw through her schemes. If Natalie had bought into Angelina's jacket scheme, that move would have rated as an all-time Survivor move, comparable to Johnny Fairplay's grandmother ploy. Angelina's schemes were very creative, but they were also transparent. The medical staff probably had to buy extra cases of Visine to heal the excessive number of eye rolls. I applaud Angelina for trying to shake up the game. She deserves an A for effort, and maybe some future contestant can refine some of this. All right. Thanks, Ed.
Good job, Ed. When Probst was asked by the host of ET Canada, who was at the finale, to do a quick interview with him, who were his favorites off the top of his head, who would he most like to see back? He mentioned Christian, which surprises no one, and Angelina. Again, quoting her as a strong, aggressive female.
Yep.
Next up, we got a call from MikeK.
Hi, Joanna and Stacy and Survivor fans. What a great season this was. I'm sure Jeff and production wanted a David to win, and they got their wish. I didn't think Nick could possibly win 3 challenges in a row, so that messed up my final 6 order. All of my Jabik 10 favorite Davids and Goliaths made it to the merge except for B. And maybe she would have made it to the merge if she didn't get injured. My Jabik favorite 2 Davids were Nick and Davy, and they both made it to the finale and placed 1st and 6th. I didn't think the other players would let Nick nor Davy get to the end, so I picked Elizabeth as my USB 24. I love Elizabeth and thought she was playing a pretty good game, but unfortunately she was the first merge boot. So, I didn't get the first on jury bonus, and I wasn't able to choose a USB 10. This is the 3rd season in a row that a Rob Has a Podcast listener patron has been on the cast. Rob Has a Podcast patron Laurel Johnson made it to 3rd place on Ghost Island, and Nick Wilson won David vs. Goliath. So, who will be the first Survivor Fans podcast player? Can't wait to cheer you on. The first player I met this season was Angelina, at Rob Has a Podcast event at Run It Up Reno. That was when Natalie was voted out, and Angelina asked for her jacket. Everyone in the audience roared with laughter. I think that was the beginning of Angelina becoming a 3rd place GOAT for every player in the game. My favorite player all season was Gabby. I really related to her as she's a tech writer for a software company. She loves hiking. She's hiked 14ers, which are mountains over 14,000 feet, and that she is excitable, intelligent, and empathetic. Her emotional outbursts endeared me even more as she showed her real self out there and how hard survivor can be emotionally. Once again, I was fortunate to be able to meet all the cast. Well, everyone but Mike White, who avoided us like the plague, and attend the after party. Since I didn't get into the finale, I co-hosted a viewing party, and both Alec and Jeremy were there. All of us super fans miss you, Joanne and Stacy. Hope you can make it out again sometime soon, maybe at least for season 40. While I was not able to get into the finale show, Christy did, and she was in the front row. You can clearly see Christy when Nick hugs his family after winning. This was one of the better reunion shows. Mostly Jeff talked to the cast and talked to more of the cast than in the past. Too bad they ignored Allison and Carr when they got voted out, and they also ignored Kelly Wentworth and David Wright as returning players. I'm surprised they didn't have all 4 returning players at the reunion. Thanks for all you do for us fans. Looking forward to hearing you both and the fans in only 2 months for Survivor 38, Edge of Extinction. This is MikeK from SoCal.
Oh, we love hearing all that. Thanks, MikeK. Yeah, maybe we'll be able to make it down there again sometime. We loved being able to do that in the past. And best I can recall, I think it was Michael Snow was the first castaway that we found out was a Survivor Fans podcast listener that was on the show, right?
Definitely, he
yeah,
was.
Snowy. So that was amazing when we heard that for his season, and we definitely have heard when we were back when we were doing interviews. There were other folks who were listeners.
Yeah, there were other people have told us before that. I don't remember offhand, but I'd have to look that up.
But I look forward to that too. Some of our younger ones, Parker and Sarah, and when they get old enough, hope we're still here doing it when they make it on the show. Thanks, Mike. It's great to hear your voice. Great to hear that summary from the finale there. Next up, we got a call from Jody.
Hi, Survivor family. It's Jody in Brisbane. That was an amazing season. Pretty satisfying ending, and woo, it was so good. I feel like a buffoon. I got 0 of the picks right at the end. I went off on a fantasy land where I feel like sometimes the person who I kind of least like ends up pulling a win in the end. Not always, but sometimes I don't see the value of the game till after it. And Angelina, I just thought, had this kind of edit where I thought maybe she could spin a story at the end, and nope, wrong, she can't. I was really surprised by Mike and his snarkiness in the last episode. He was brutal towards Allison, just like getting into her for playing for herself and labeling that as a lack of dignity. I thought that was a bit nasty, and I was really surprised that she put his name down at the end. It was weird. Yeah, so Davey, I wish Davey could have made it a bit further. Nick was a pretty satisfying winner, I think. He had a good story, and I think he didn't come off as all lawyery. He came off as really human, and he's a good winner for me. Cara, I was glad she wasn't in the last 3 because I felt like she didn't really have the story to carry her over the edge. I haven't been able to watch the reunion, but I'm looking forward to that because people are saying how satisfied they were with it, so that's cool. I've been working a heap, and I've only watched it the once, and it was with bleary, sort of bloodshot, please keep me alive and awake through this episode kind of a feeling. So I'm glad that it's over and done with. I've got a bit of survivor fatigue, I feel like, after the Australian season and this one right off the back of the last one, and I'll be glad when it starts up again, but I'm also glad for the break. I'm going to miss all your voices. I quite often listen to the show a bunch of times to get me through the week. And anyway, I think I'm talking about having a break, and now I'm thinking about getting into Survivor New Zealand, but choosing to do summer semester has really messed with my life. Okay, guys, have a wonderful Christmas, safe Christmas, and I'll see you all in the new year. Bye now.
Excellent. Thanks, Jody. Typical
Good to hear
Survivor
your
fan.
voice, Jody.
Yeah. I'm tired of Survivor. Let's watch some more Survivor.
Yeah.
Good deal. We've done that before, too. Next up, we got an email from Josh the Plush Moose from Massachusetts. Dear Joanne and Stacy, the finale is over. It wasn't a Goliath goat fest, and we have a worthy winner. What a great season. This week's other observations. It took all season, but the Goliaths finally didn't sleep through an idol search. Angelina losing the note was the cherry on top moment of her edit. Angelina's rock climb proved that while she's a goat, she's no mountain goat. That's good, yeah. When Angelina spun her tall tale about a 100-foot climb on an 8-foot ladder, I was waiting for her to add uphill 5 miles each way in the snow. Jeff describing puzzle solutions during the challenges. Survivor for Dummies or leveling the playing field? He was giving out clues. Yeah. Mike and the wine glass brought back memories. Each year, our parish gathered to decorate our church for Christmas, and each year a group hung around the piano drinking wine and singing carols while the rest of us climbed ladders and did the actual work. Did anyone notice Davy's crab wand? I hope he was a wizard, but he was a muggle. Mike said he was playing a character. Was it a whiny, passive-aggressive guy who had to have his way? If so, he nailed it. Someone needs to explain to Angelina that being catty doesn't mean cruelly toying with your prey before killing it. Telling the last jury member that a finalist is a psychopath doesn't help their vote count. Mike snarking at Allison in Tribal was his Uncle Don moment. The balls on rails challenge reminded me of Lucy and Ethel in the Candy Factory. Oh, that's a good reference. I like that. Kara literally dropped the ball when it came to reaching for the final 3. Mike hissing at Kara before the fire challenge proved it. He's my neighbor's whiny cat. Mike thinks being a backseat driver means you're in charge. He must ride in limos a lot. Indeed he does. Funny how they never mentioned the alliance name of Davy and Nick. Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. Angelina wouldn't know a selfless act if one jumped up and kissed her on the lips. Only Dumbo Dan would stumble on the stairs when going to cast his vote. What was Mike's transformative game? That he's a mactor who can actually act? Oh, no, there's some bite right there. When Nick smiles, he reminds me of Grandpa Munn's Season 4 returnees. Will one channel Boston Rob and win, or will all face extinction? I don't know, they got to play 4 times to win, right? If they're going to channel Boston Rob. Anyway, that's it for me for this season. Thanks, Joanne and Stacy, for all you do. Can't wait to hear what the other fans have to say. Happy holidays, everybody. See you in February. Thank you, Josh. Enjoyed it as always. Next up, we got a call from Jill.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. Hi, Survivor fans. Jill from the Outback here. I love this season. I love that Nick won it. It was a good ending to a good season. I just loved everything about it. I kind of like that Angelina didn't get any votes. She was really funny. When she got that immunity, she became really quite bitchy, especially to Allison. And she, dead set, she wanted to make Allison look bad with that fake immunity. I wish Allison had made a couple of moves. She would have been in such a better position, but she just sort of kept saying, oh, yes, I need to make a move, but she didn't actually make any. Mike, I really did like him, and I wanted him to do well until he got a little bit witchy at Allison's tribal council as well. That sort of struck a wrong chord for me. But I wonder, should people not vote for him because he does have a bit of money, or it's perceived that he's got some money because of his job? Is that a good enough reason not to vote for somebody? Poor Davy, it was sad to see him go, but there was no way that those Goliaths could leave, those 2 Davids hanging in there, and Nick had immunity, so it had to be Davy that went. And luckily for Nick, he got had his immunity run, and which got him into the final and won the game for him. I enjoyed the final episode and the finale with the players at the end. Everyone seemed to, or most people seemed to get a little bit of a word in, and without all the audience involvement that there has been in the past. I kind of had to have a little bit of a laugh when Angelina and Gabby were talking about women getting idols and that it doesn't happen very often, and good on Angelina for finding one. I think they glossed over the fact that, yes, she found the clue, but I don't think she would have found the idol without the two men there with her. Mm-hmm. And that was hilarious, Mike, looking for the clue and wouldn't let go of his glass of wine. That made me laugh. All in all, I love this season. I'm going to put it up there with one of my favourites, I think. And we got a glimpse of Survivor the next season. What was it? Age of Extinction, I think it was called. I always think it's a little bit unfair. There's just a few returning players in with a bunch of newbies that they must have a distinct advantage before going in. I think that's all I've got. Joanne and Stacy, thank you so much for your podcast and all the work that you guys must put into it. It really does add an extra level of interest to Survivor. And to all the other people that leave their feedback, it really makes me think about how I feel about things, and sometimes I do change my mind based on what other people say. And wishing everyone a Merry Christmas and an absolutely wonderful 2019. Happy days, everyone. Bye.
Excellent. Thanks, Jill. That's definitely been the case for me, too. Definitely broadens my horizons being exposed to the listener feedback show here.
It's like when we're watching Wheel of Fortune. If you get one thing in your head, you just can't let it go. Mm-hmm. Even after you realize, no, that's not the word, So I like having other people's viewpoints.
Yeah, the different perspectives.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Jill. Next up, got a call from Jeremiah.
Hello, Joanne and Stacy. Hello, Survivor fans. This is Jeremiah Panhorst here with some feedback about the finale of David versus Goliath, which was awesome, right? A great ending to a fantastic season. This is definitely a level of ending like Breaking Bad. It was just perfect, right? Even the reunion show, as you guys mentioned, I thought was a great format and did very, very well. So all around, fantastic season. I think for an all new newbies, I think this is going to be ranked up very high. We've had a few good ones over the last few seasons, starting with Cayenne, and then I thought Millennials versus Gen X was also a great cast as well. This one was outstanding, and what can I say? Plenty of characters. We learned a lot about the importance of jackets. We've learned the importance of how to or when to prepare eggs. Just so much to unpack in this season, and I think we'll always look back at it as being a very favorable season. The only question I have for you guys is, should they bring back the idol nullifier? That's my big question. I could go either way with it myself. Outside of that, I'm so glad to see the fire challenge continue to go well. I think that this is definitely a twist I hope they keep around for a little bit longer to see how it continues to play out. So lots of goodness from this season. I was very fortunate to be able to meet a good chunk of the cast on Tuesday leading up to the finale. Saw a few of them at the hotel and then went down to a party and met a bunch more people. Everyone was fantastic, including, of course, our winner. And the rumor I did hear was that the reason why Jeremy was not there is because he left Ponderosa early. So he pulled Vitas there, and that's all I know. So I'll close out my thoughts with, of course, JSFL. I don't mean to bring this up, you guys, but I did have the final 6 pick correctly, even mentioned it in the Facebook group. But then, of course, I changed my mind at the last second and switched 5 and 4 around because I really started to buy into the fire challenge. I thought Angelina and Allison were going to go for fire, so I did change at the last minute. But I did have it almost correct there. But I did recently learn that I did win the side challenge again. Amazing. Can't believe it. So I'm very proud with my final score, obviously, overall. But I was even more excited when I heard, oh no, Stacy, you were the loser. Oh, it breaks my heart. Sorry, not sorry. So this means I have to pick a song. I'm going to put a lot of thought into it and include that song choice in my email for this feedback. Stacy, I can't wait to hear you open up those pipes and sing for us. All right, well, that's it for me. I'm going to let you guys go. You guys take care. Hope everyone has a happy holidays. And until next season, which is right around the corner, this is Jeremiah from Southern California.
Sorry, not sorry.
All right, thanks, Jeremiah. And we'll get to the song later when we wrap up.
Yeah, when we do the wrap up.
Yeah, and that's what we heard from everyone, is that Jeremy left the Ponderosa early. He didn't go on the trip with the other people when the jury came in. The others usually go off on a trip. And he didn't choose to do that, so he was uninvited. He broke his contract.
Yeah, so he self-destructed, basically. That's really what it came down to. He was a bitter Betty and self-destructed, and then he came back and did Poison Press when it came time for his vote-out
interviews. There were pictures. He was in L.A. for the finale as well as Alec.
Sure, he wanted it.
So he and Alec were both there. They just weren't allowed to go to the actual finale.
Yeah.
But they got to go visit and hang out with everybody.
Yeah, thanks for that extra insight, Jeremiah. Sounds like you had a great time there at the finale. Next up, we've got an email from Doreese in California.
Hi, Joanne and Stacy. For me, this was the best Survivor season in years.
Mm-hmm.
Nick played a savvy game and was a worthy winner. I just reviewed the cast photos, and there's not one person I wouldn't mind seeing a second time. They were good underdogs and great villains. Slight tangent. What do you think Lynn Spillman's departure will mean for the quality of the show going forward? Happy holidays, everyone, and thank you, Joanne and Stacy, for another year of great podcasting. All right, thank you, Doreese.
Yeah.
I personally don't think it's going to make that much of an impact.
Nope.
Because they have other quality people.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's a bad thing at times to shake things up from the norm.
Yeah, it actually...
as far as casting and...
can be good to shuffle things around from that perspective. I mean, she obviously had a long run and a lot of success. I think she's credited with in that regard, but I don't necessarily think that her departure means that there's going to be a turn for the worse or anything like that.
Maybe less bartenders or...
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. But that remains to be seen.
Well, Lynn was always known and was well liked among the survivors.
Yep.
So, but like I said, they do have a nice group of people that are in casting.
Yeah, there was a video that was posted that I'll link to in the show notes where you can see the casting group that's there now that's responsible for it. It was from back in August, so you can actually see who it is who's doing casting. You can hear them talk a little bit about what you need to do for your video too.
Yeah, that'll be nice in the show notes. All right, thanks again, Doreese. Up next, we have a voice clip from Jen.
Hi everyone, this is Jen in California. Well, that was a satisfying end to a spectacular season. Stacy, like you, I was really very skeptical of how this season was going to end. It was such a great season. Every single week had a strong episode. I really wasn't certain as to how strong the end was going to be. But like Joanne, I chose my final picks the way I wanted it to end, not really the way I thought it was going to end. I don't know what I thought, but we picked Nick to win from the beginning, and he won, and this is probably my best JSFL finish ever. Yay. And we really picked Nick really on a whim. It was like we closed our eyes and pointed. But I found the finale to just be really exciting. There were lots of characters to root for. Nick finished so strong, and he seems like such a good guy. I'm really very happy for him. And this season, honestly, it's going to go down. It's like a top 5 season for me. I don't really rank them. I can't remember them that well. But yes, this season was one of the best that I've seen in a very long time. And looking back, to be honest, I thought this season was going to be a dud. I really was not happy hearing that this season was David versus Goliath. I really thought that it was a really hokey gimmick, and I thought that it was going to fall flat, kind of the way Ghost Island did. Ghost Island to me was a joke. And I thought that the whole David versus Goliath theme, little guy versus the big guy, was going to be a real hokey thing. But I couldn't have been more wrong. The people that were on the show, I think, very well embodied the David and the Goliath traits, and the fact that it swung back and forth so many times made it exciting. Final Tribal Council was one of the best also that I've seen in a long while. I really thought that everyone made decent arguments. I thought Angelina had no shot whatsoever, but I really think that she did not give up till the very end, so I enjoyed just hearing her arguments and watching her just be Angelina in the final. I thought Nick hit a slam dunk. He really did. His arguments and his final tribal performance was just fantastic. He did what he needed to do. Mike, though, I really expected more of Mike, and I know we only get to see a snapshot, so to speak. but I felt like what they showed us in terms of like him arguing his case, he really was not very cohesive. Like, I didn't get what he was trying to say with regards to what he was getting out of this season, like what he was taking away with him, which if I remember correctly, I think that's what he was talking about in the end when they were given their shot to just tell the jury what they wanted to tell them. Anyway, overall, loved it. And I'm already looking forward to next season. I like all seasons of Survivor, but I really like seasons that have a couple of returning players here and there. So I'm looking forward to seeing the players come back. I'm sorry that our podcasting journey has to come to a pause, but I'm very much looking forward to reconvening with everyone in the new year. Thank you so much, Joanna and Stacy, for another fantastic season of Survivor Fans podcast. And happy holidays and happy new year to everyone. Till next year and next season. Bye.
Thanks, Jen.
Thank you for the card as well, Jen. I appreciate that.
Yeah. I think Mike, in some of his exit interviews, admitted that basically Nick's story rattled him a little. He lost his focus at the end because he didn't feel like his story stacked up to Nick's in terms of Nick's personal journey and then his story within the context of this season too. And he said he felt like he gave up on himself a little bit at the end. I think that's why he got a little incoherent and didn't pull it together in a formative way. He did good in the final tribal. Obviously, his explanations and his responses were more relevant than Angelina's, but he did acknowledge that he lost some of his focus. I think it was wearing him down. Plus, he just acknowledged that it was hard to compete with Nick's story. Good deal. Thanks again, Jen. Next up, we got a call from Paul.
Hey, Paul in Louisiana here, and yes, like Stacy, I lowered my expectations for the end of this season, and honestly, that was a mistake because everything paid off supremely for me in the end. A fantastic season from start to finish. I was on the edge of my seat for practically all of it, and most certainly the last episode. You know, if I were in the side challenge, I'd have to be singing. That's how wild and full of surprises this entire season was for me. I loved it. 2 thumbs up and all of that. And there's just so much to comment on. But instead, let me tell you what I think of the people that played this season. It's time for me to reassess my jabbing. B, well, we'll never really know, will we? But I think I overqualified her. Even if she stayed, I don't think she'd have done much more than go home a few episodes later. And Carl, well, he sort of self-imploded, but I blame Gabby for most, if not all, of what went wrong towards the end. And Christian, he was fun, but you know what? I'm over him. I'm sort of Christianed out because he squeezes an awful lot into a small amount of time. It's almost like he played 2 or 3 seasons already, and I can do without any more of him. Now, Davey, oh man, I wish you could have won. I like everything about this man. Elizabeth, I don't feel I have an accurate read on her, but in the end I liked her. I could still be wrong. And Gabby, well, she was what caused the downfall of many a David. Consider me to not be a fan of hers. I will read no technical manuals that were written by her. And Jessica, all I recall is that she was one of the first people off because she was such a threat. And let's just follow that with a /S. Lyrsa, everyone's favorite goat, but not mine because I liked her. It almost looks like she returns next season, but she has a different name. If anyone wants to get on Survivor, you might want to consider a quick purple dye job.
There you go.
And Nick, congratulations. I still don't know who I wanted to win more, Nick or Davey, but I'm thrilled for Nick, and I disliked him in the beginning. I love when someone makes me change my mind about them. And Pat, well, I suspect we'll see him later on down the line, but he'll be a quick vote off. I just don't think he meshes well. And then there's Alec, who was honestly a fun player. I just wish things went better for him and he didn't feel the way he does now. He had strengths, but it's safe to say we'll never see him again. Which brings me to Allison. Why do I feel that we will see you again? I don't want to, because if anyone was able to oversell oneself, it was Allison. I just feel that she talked too much about herself being a target, and that it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. And Angelina, oh, sweetheart, I just don't have the time to get into it here about you. Goodbye, forever, I hope. And Dan, he was still reeling from being voted off even weeks later. Take some advice from Elsa and let it go. And Jeremy, now I thought I liked him, but then he apparently slept too close to Natalie and pod-personed into her. Not good. Okay, so John, let me say I have done a 180 on this man. I walked in disliking him immensely, and he walked out with me loving him. What a guy. Consider me a fan, my man. And Cora, or whatever, well, I thought she'd be a Barbie doll bimbo. You know, life in plastic and all that. But she immediately knew that she had to get away from Dan, and she ended up being someone I liked. And Mike, I was against him from the start, and then he was my USB replacement. I've warmed up to him, but I wish he had played rather than had been forgotten about during the first 3 quarters of the game. He only became self-aware when he was the only male left from the Goliaths. I liked him, but that doesn't mean I need to see him again. And next up is Natalia. Who is this woman? I barely remember you, and in another 2 weeks, you will be out of my memory. And finally, Natalie. She won't return, thankfully. But if she did, I want her on the same tribe as someone else that I never want to see again. Philip Shepard. I think that could be fun, but in truth, I was never a fan of people that are just there for the conflict they can cause. There's just too much collateral damage involved when characters play the game. So in the end, I'm listing David vs. Goliath as a top 5 season for me. Thanks, Joanne and Stacy. You are awesome. Of that, there's no doubt. Thanks, Steve, for enabling so many of us to play JSFL. Your webpage is astounding. And thanks to all who participate in feedback shows. Everyone influences me throughout the season in ways I am truly thankful for. Happy holidays to all who celebrate any of the holidays coming up, and please be safe out there. I'll catch you all in 2019. Everyone take care, and watch movies on the plane. Bye.
From Christian to Emily, watch movies on the plane. Yeah.
That's good, Paul.
Enjoyed that. Excellent.
That's a nice way to go out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, did you put a bow on it?
I think we did.
Tie it off?
Yeah, I think we did. That was great.
I really I don't rank things because I don't think my memory's good enough to even remember. I don't remember details always, just feelings. I remember how it made me, I love that season. What'd you like about it? I don't know.
What's your feeling for Survivor David versus Goliath season 37?
Right now, I absolutely loved it.
Mm-hmm. You think it'll be a lasting memory?
I think so. I do. Just like I love Pearl Islands. Even though I don't know if I would love it as much but I just always loved it. That was the feeling I was left with after Pearl Islands. I just thought, I love this.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that way about this one.
And that was a lot of the cast, too, that helped make that season.
Yeah, and that's...
The heroes and the enemies.
I was afraid it was that the ending was going to make me not enjoy the season overall, even though I'd enjoyed it up till this finale.
Right.
But then when it turned out the way it did, because I thought, well,
really
this is how I want it to go, and that's how it went. And I thought, okay, well, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted.
There you are.
And so I'm happy.
Yep.
And therefore, it definitely is in my top ones.
Yeah. So a really good cast, a lot of people you could tell that were playing at a high level. You watch those Jury Speaks extra videos, and you can tell by their analysis and how they're looking at things and how they're trying to force themselves to take a balanced look because they're taking their role on the jury very seriously.
Yeah, they're very invested.
Mm-hmm. And they want to do a good job. They want to put a great stamp on their season and have a great representative for their season.
And boy, I sure thought John was a shoe-in for Mike. And then... obviously, Nick changed his mind.
He did, yeah. He swayed him for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the casting and the editing with the decrees that Probst gave for him to try some things differently and the different styles they experimented with this season. That was part of what really enriched it and made it extra fun. There's this one nut left to crack, which is how do you depict a social game like Mike's? Because the reason they were all talking up Mike going in was they had realized as each person came into the Ponderosa and they would do a debriefing and they would get an information dump from each castaway who had just been voted out, they began to see Mike's social game and the fact that, hey, Mike's down at the beach, and several of them said this, and it's like a revolving door. People go to him and they share information. And that person leaves, and then a little while later, someone else goes down and sits with Mike.
Yeah, I think that was mainly Christian's observation.
Well, it wasn't just Christian who said that.
Yeah.
A lot of people realized that he had played that way. But yeah, Christian and Allison were people who talked about it a lot. But in terms of the editing, that silent social game, that's something that the impact of, it's just a puzzle I feel like they haven't completely cracked yet. And that's why we go into finales sometimes with a person who's had a fantastic social game, but it hasn't really translated, because it's more about the action, and it's more about the actions in the voting out, things like that. That's a hard one. So there's, I guess, to flip it around, there's room to grow and improve in that space too. But certainly kudos to the editors for the fantastic job they did with this season, and the changes and the risks that they took that really paid off and given us an enjoyable week to week that we just really had a great ride.
Yeah, and overall it was a really good casting for this.
Yeah, positive. There's several I'll be fine never seeing again. There's some that are coming back I'm pretty sure that I would be fine not seeing, but there was a lot of positives on this cast, real pluses, and it was a delight to watch them play and how they came at the game from their different perspectives.
And even the jury speaks, the people were getting very detailed in what they were looking for, what they were looking at.
Had their criteria and how they were going to shape, what was going to shape their decision.
Because a lot of times people go to Ponderosa and they just party and enjoy themselves, and you know, it's like they don't put too much thought, but these people did not do that.
Right.
I mean, they might have partied and have fun, but they really put a lot of thought and energy into choosing the winner, and choosing a winner. Several of them said this, that would represent their season.
Mm-hmm.
We want a good representative for our season. This is our season, and we want the person to represent us.
Mm-hmm.
And they chose.
Yeah, they want to feel good about the person who beat them.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's an important. Well, it's an important lesson too when you're thinking about how do you manage your social game. And Nick and his named alliances, and Mike with his "Hey, we're final twos" and the revolving door, and being an information hub like he was, so that he had the most information in the game at a lot of the critical junctures to help him make the best move. It's just hard to see that without showing so much that it spoils the surprise for you.
Yeah, and that Nick had that to a degree as well. Not to as big a degree as Mike did, because he was in with the Goliaths.
At some points, yeah.
But Nick had that with different people, even Goliaths.
Right.
Who fed him information that therefore helped him make maneuvers.
Right, that rebounding on the original David's tribe, and then rebounding on the Jabini tribe and that Jabini alliance. Look how critical that ended up being for him.
Yep.
Right? The Jabinis there at the end. Who would have guessed that?
Well, and even some of the people were talking about Angelina's lack of self-awareness, even on Jury Speaks before the final trial.
Yeah, so it's no secret.
No.
And it remains a lack from everything that we can see.
Because I think it was John that said, okay, if she were to own up to her gameplay and this and this and this, she would have a chance for my vote.
Right.
But she'd have to really demonstrate that she was self-aware. And, and because they weren't necessarily complaining about the type of game she played, just
they were crediting her with rebounding, of working her way back up in a positive way.
Even Allison, who
they weren't
obviously is on the outs.
Right. They weren't just writing her off as a goat.
Not 100%, but you could tell that really
odds were stacked against her.
She'd have to do a lot.
Her behavior.
To get her votes.
Yeah.
And I think she blew that as soon as she brought up the rice, for sure.
Yeah, Davey was so positive on her.
He was. That surprised me.
Yeah.
Especially after he's the one that said, you know, Angelina, it's not selfless if you do.
That's where she lost him for sure.
Yeah.
When he had to explain
he was extremely positive about her.
It's like he hit the handle. He flushed her right there.
He was like, we were good friends. We were tight.
Yeah.
And I thought, wow.
If I got to explain selfless to you, you are not the person that I want representing us.
Well, there you go. I still don't know. Some people aren't capable. And
I got to believe that's one of... I don't know if
she just doesn't want to deal with it in the public eye, or she just never going to see it.
I'm going to go with the latter. It seems extremely unlikely. It probably would have to be some traumatic thing to cause that awakening.
But she looks so happy at all the finale stuff and the pictures
Sure.
and the interviews, and she's just very, very happy.
Well, if you
in the way the
personally
season went
erase and rub something out that you believe is not a positive on your behalf, then you just proceed like it doesn't exist. Yeah, I guess it's a talent in a way.
Yeah.
There we go. Wow, what a great season. We're thrilled that we were able to have this wonderful experience with you. We want to thank you all, especially the folks who took time to send in their feedback here for the finale. We know it's a busy holiday time, but we appreciate that and we enjoyed it thoroughly. Good job, everyone. We want to say a huge thanks to Emily for your subscription donation and to Michael in Utah. Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate your support with our operational costs. That's a big help. Thank you so much. As always, we'd like to give a big thanks to Paul for creating and maintaining the roster this season. We love it, depend on it. We're looking at it multiple times every week. As well as the logo for JSFL. Thank you so much for taking that on. Thanks to Jeremiah for watching over the flock at the Survivor Fans podcast page on Facebook, and also to Steve for creating and maintaining the JSFL website, which allowed it to scale so that we can all have this fun together. Thanks so much, Steve.
Stacy, Jeremiah has chosen for you Chris Young's 2015, not later than the Japik Show Part 2.
All right,
So you
congrats.
get it in.
Congrats again, Jeremiah. Good job, bud. Yeah, I'll have to go check that out. I'm not familiar with the tune, so I've got some work to do.
And congratulations again to Survivor Master for winning JSFL this season.
Hear, hear.
Good job. And we wish all of you happy holidays, and we'll see you back here next season for the Japik Show for season 38, Survivor Edge of Extinction.
Have a good one.